Seated on the dais this morning, Secretary Science and Technology Dr. Chandrasekhar, Director General CSIR Dr. Pandey, Vice Chancellor University of Kashmir Dr. Farooq, Mr. Parashar. I can see some of the very eminent seniors seated over here. We have the Vice Chancellor from Jammu Central University Kashmir, and I was seeing Professor Sopuri also somewhere. Yeah, because the faces are very smartly camouflaged, so it's difficult sometimes to make out. I hope we don't come across a day when we like to actually mask ourselves to be identified. Nevertheless, I am glad that we are together over here this forenoon to perform this pleasant task of releasing the Science Monthly in Hindi and Urdu, besides of course English. And as was being mentioned by Dr. Farooq, very soon we'll also be coming out with Dogri and Kashmiri versions, so as to complete the cycle in its entirety. We have already, I was told, come out with the vernacular versions in Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Maithili, etc. So some of the languages which have not yet been taken into this fold, including Dogri, Kashmiri, some of the northeastern languages, the Oriya, will also be, so that the exercise that we began is accomplished in its first phase, and then it becomes a regular feature. Now, why this monthly magazine in the regional languages or the vernacular languages or the Indian languages? The question was partly addressed by Dr. Farooq, and that brings to my mind what the Honorable Prime Minister said in 2018 while addressing a program in Kolkata. And I think that sums up in a single sentence the entire spirit of it. The Prime Minister said, and I quote, "To promote understanding and love of science among our youth, it is vital that we promote science communication in a big way. Language should not be a barrier, but a facilitator in this task," end quote. So I think that sums up all. No section of youth or students or aspirants should feel at disadvantage simply because they lack knowledge of the English language. Leave aside the nuances of giving due respect and place to a language, which of course is one of our mandate, but besides that, from the point of view of livelihood, from the point of view of career prospects, from the point of view of aspirational accomplishment also, if we are to provide a level playing field in a country as heterogeneous as India, we have to have these options available with us. And secondly, if you ask me, I think this has also been a strange twist of circumstances over the centuries that we landed up in a situation like this where you and I prefer talking in English and also speaking science in English language, because the education policy of India was, in its modern version, was formulated by Lord Macaulay. And therefore the entire syllabi and the curriculum got written in the language which was being spoken by the British. And since we were new into it, we had not many more options available at that time. That doesn't mean that if we were invaded by some other country or we would have started speaking that language, but nevertheless, this was an incidental happening. Otherwise, you see some of the best science accomplishments happening in Soviet Union. They were the first to send a human being into space, and the entire exercise is done by their local language without even bothering or without having feeling the necessity of having the knowledge of English language. So they were the first actually in space technology, even ahead of America, even though America landed a human being first, but the first human being sent up was through Soviet Union. So also the case of Japan. Even today, you hardly, and the best of the science projects happening over there, even China. So what I'm trying to say is that it was incidental. It's a outcome of a strange sequence of events in the recent history of India. So now it is, I think, under Prime Minister Modi, time to actually redeem this anomaly which has happened, or this contradiction which has happened. More so also because most of the universities and most of the schools and colleges in most of the states in India today are imparting vernacular medium up to the highest levels of high education, which was not happening earlier. Now you can do your post-graduation in Telugu, you can do it in Urdu. I come across youngsters who have never read a word of English language. Even in civil services, I think 4 or 5 years back, we had one of the toppers, I think it was 4th or 5th topper in civil services all India, who had done his entire graduation in Telugu, because he came from a village and the nearby, the only college available was the one which provided Telugu medium. But then this boy had the urge to appear for civil services, and the graduation was the minimum eligibility qualification, and he did that. So what I'm trying to say, the aspiration level of the youth of India 2021 has gone tremendously high, and it is now ready to break the barriers of language. You could imagine the aspiration level of this young boy that I'm referring to. His mother was a housemaid. He came from a lower socio-economic strata, but the aspiration was so overpowering and irresistible for him that he had to acquire. So if when we come across such potential bright brains in this country spread across north, south, east, west, northeast, then one feels guilty of somewhere, not doing enough to give them a level playing field. And that is where this, more so also because most of the services today are also attracting graduates from science streams, which is also a phenomena which is slightly different from what it was soon after independence. There's huge emphasis on humanities. Even those coming into civil services often came from humanities. Now it's the other way around. Even in the last batch of IAS, out of about 180 or 90, we had as many as 140. Among them, some of them toppers from IITs and NIT. And in any batch, we have at least 2 to 3 dozen medicos. So, in the point of view of also providing them an opening, this is essential. So, I am actually trying to bring forth before this learned audience the aspect of youth career aspiration, rather than, of course, all of us keep talking about the philosophical merits of it and the cultural merits of it, which of course we know. Ye Urdu ki khidmat karni hai, Hindi ki seva karni hai. All that is spoken about in the intellectual parlance. But in a country where we have 70% population below the age of 40 and rising levels of aspiration with each passing day, I think that is the relevance. Now the only challenge is that of translation. Prime Minister also has been repeatedly referring to giving the option of Hindi medium in engineering schools, in medical schools. But unless we are able to have the literature available of the equal standard, then again we'll be doing injustice. And many of these students do not take up the other language because they find the literature not of the equal level. So I have also come across, because I enjoy, studying the profiles and interacting with the toppers from different streams every year, whether it be civil services or the IIT. I've also come across youngsters who might have done their matriculation or even their class 12 in Hindi medium, or sometimes even in Urdu medium, and then switching over to English, because they may not find, or even after class 10 switching over from Hindi and Urdu to English, because they don't find the textbooks of so they sometimes are skeptic that they will be at a disadvantage during the competition or when they have to compete with their peers. So for that, I think the challenge that we immediately face is to have standard textbooks in science at all levels, beginning from the school education to the higher education to the professional colleges, in all the vernacular languages. And for that, my considered view is that we should not be leaving the job to the translators. Because translation of science is too serious a matter to be left to translator. Just as Francis Bacon once said, literature is too serious to be left to the teachers of literature. If you believe that the teacher of literature will produce Munshi Premchand and Shakespeare, you are mistaken. Because they will only prompt you to mug up and learn by heart the lessons in the textbook and fair in the exam. Most of the authors that we have seen even in India, beginning from Tagore to others, did not even go up to college. So similarly, translation of science too serious to be, because I started believing this more firmly because about 7-8 years back there was a prolonged agitation by some of the civil servants, civil services aspirants, objecting to wrong translations. In the early weeks we dismissed it because we have got used to this phenomena. Every year after the civil service exams end up, there is an agitation. And outside the UPSC office on the Shah Jahan Road, you have a permanent tent put up by a very smart businessman. And if you go there, you will learn that it is done so because at any given time somebody else has to sit on a dharna. So he says, instead of undergoing the ordeal of lifting and pacing it again, I'll just find out whom to put the bill for. So it's probably there. So we got used to this. That also gave us certain amount of bias that, okay, these are all failures. But then, when I was prompted into going deeper, I actually saw the translation happening of a phrase like steel plant as lohe ka pauda. And I don't grudge that, nor do I blame that, because the person who was translating or may have translated it would not have known what is a steel plant about. And Google is too kind a friend sitting before you. You don't have to, these days even speaking to spouses through the Google, because he would say the kindest words which you may not be able to say. So the gentleman in his all sincerity would have done that. It's not he to be blamed. So if we had a person with a scientific background, the background of the subject which is being translated. So I think equally also, now we would also be concentrating in creating a group of such resource persons who could create, because we cannot push translated books, because that again will be pushing a certain section of aspirants into disadvantage. But anyway, we have started moving on, and all this has happened in the last 7-8 years because Prime Minister Modi has given a special push to the learning of languages, and I congratulate Scope for this. And also because now that we are going digital in the later stage, we'll also have to find digital means of imparting, because many of the textbooks are read online. So I think it's an onerous task, but at least under Prime Minister Modi, we have taken up the courage and inspiration to undertake this task. Though it might take time, but at least we have started moving in that direction. We have started realizing the importance and the pride of having vernaculars also as a part of science curriculum, which was earlier confined mostly to the humanities curriculum. So thank you very much. I hope we'll meet again, maybe at Dr. Farooq's University or somewhere in Jammu, when we release the rest of the languages related to your union territory. Thank you very much.